Hey Sean,
Yeah, well,
I've had an epiphany.
wait.
I think
Before you, did it hurt?
terribly.
Cool. Go ahead.
I think we should quit our jobs.
Oh, that's a great idea. Sold. I'm sold.
Not as easy.
Yeah.
I mean,
It is. Our jobs are getting in the way of this podcast. I think it's
terribly.
I think we know which has to go, and it's not the podcast.
Considering that we both work for the same place,
Yeah.
we see each other every day. We can't be recording.
Too bad we couldn't carry a mic around with us. Like, Ronaldo's amazing. Fuck you. Alright, so this is the first of our World Cup podcasts. It's actually probably a bit late. The World Cup is almost into its second week.
Yeah, it's overdue, but here, as I says,
We're here.
we gotta quit our jobs.
Gotta quit our jobs.
We gotta quit in style though. We just can't type up a letter and leave.
That's how I usually do it.
We have to like wreck the joint or something.
You can wreck the joint.
You know, fuck shit up.
Alright, so let's have a kind of go back over what's happened so far. We're going to start with the very first game.
The hosts.
The hosts beaten Saudi Arabia 5-0 in what...
Saudi Arabia didn't turn up.
No, yeah, they just got overrun by Russia, who are running unbelievable amounts.
Does the Russian league not finish like in April?
Could do.
I think it does.
They could be well rested. They also didn't have to qualify, so again, they could be well rested. Very well rested team. But anyway, like we said, the analysis of this game's pretty shit. Well, I say pretty shit. Saudi Arabia played really shit.
Yep.
Russia scored. You know, they've got a good amount of pace in midfield and big man up front. I know that he only came on, but Artem Zuba's been a torture for teams for years. It's not like he's a new guy on the scene nobody's heard of.
Saudi Arabia reminded me of like cardboard cutouts. They were there, but they didn't do nothing.
Do you know what's funny? It was a lot of people were kind of like surprised by Russia because it's like a lot of the Russian players don't go to Europe to make their name. There's only a couple that Cheryshev plays for Villarreal. But the reason that they don't go to Europe is because they decided that they would limit the number of foreign players they could have in the league. Something they've suggested they should do in the Premier League. But what's actually happened is all that did was drive the price of Russian players up.
Yeah, because
so
there's so many you can have.
There's only so many you can have. So what's happened is guys are getting paid a lot of money to stay at home and not try themselves in Europe. And so even though they might not be worth that much money if they were to go to Europe, they can get loads of money just staying in Russia.
But you think of it, if the Premier League was to do that, it would fall to shit. It wouldn't be the exciting league that it is.
No, of course not.
And then Jordan Henderson could be worth like 100 million or something ridiculous like that.
Jordan Henderson is worth 100 million. Did you not watch the BBC talking about his exceptional performance against Tunisia?
You've just said it, the BBC. Full stop. I ain't going to entertain this.
We'll get to that.
My time's far too precious to be wasted talking about him.
Hey, we'll get to that. So, I mean, Russia scored some nice goals, but Saudi Arabia made it far too easy for them.
Yeah, you can't judge Russia on that performance. You can judge Saudi Arabia though.
Yeah, we'll get to Egypt and Uruguay was the next game. From what I saw, Egypt without their only real threat decided to sit back for the whole game and eventually conceded in the very last minute.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah, that guy from Atletico Madrid.
Yeah,
Jimenez. Yeah, Jimenez.
Centre half. Jimenez.
He was linked with United last week, but
everybody's linked with United.
Yeah,
everybody.
Yeah,
it's transfer season.
Everybody wants to play with them, you see. Anyway,
I'm sure they do.
Yep.
Just not Antoine Griezmann apparently.
He don't want to play for anybody. He turned down Barcelona. I actually think there's something wrong with him now.
Why?
He turned down Manchester
might like
United.
Madrid. It's a nice city.
It's Atletico though.
And what? Maybe he likes Diego Simeone's fatherly management style. I mean, I assume that's what Simeone's like as a manager. He was such a nice player.
Take it on his playing days and on his actions on the touchline, or even in on the director's box there in the Champions League. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I remember the time. So I saw someone comment they thought he was going to come on and kill a referee at one stage. Hey, he looks like a hitman with those black suits and everything.
I remember the first Champions League final. The first Champions League final against Real Madrid. Sure, he was on the pitch, squared up the Real Madrid players. Classy guy.
He'd take most Real Madrid players too.
Yeah,
I think he'd take most modern players.
I wouldn't cross him.
I mean, now that he doesn't need to dive to get a referee's attention, he could probably show just what he's made of.
Anger management problem. Simeone.
Yeah. So that was Hector Cooper style Egypt. Very defensive coach, very
The game was about planning.
Yeah, but he doesn't like to chance things, and I'd say the reason he didn't throw Salah on was because I'm sure he figured out, being an Argentinian himself, that the Uruguayan centre halves would have had no problem, having a little tester of Salah's shoulder. In fact, I'd say they probably felt almost compelled to do it because they're Uruguayan centre halves. It's
go up and give him a hug and turn into an armbar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. But anyway, so we're going to skip on to these to get to some of the better games. Morocco-Iran was a horrible game to watch.
Thankfully, I didn't actually watch it, and I hope.
No, I watched 80 minutes of it and then turned it off, and then Iran, it turned out, scored when I wasn't watching it.
It's just a shame it took 88 minutes before you realised. Yeah.
That's good. Your old friend managing Iran.
Queiroz.
Mm-hmm. Nice style he's got Iran playing.
Yeah, I have nothing to say on this.
It's not. But you know what? He's doing what he's doing what he can with the resources he's got. Like, you've got to kind of respect that.
Yeah, you have to take your hat off
to
that.
They did get a fluky win because it was an own goal. It was a.
I did see the goal. That was a good finish.
95th minute. The editing was all that. Horrible game to watch.
Anyway, here we go.
Morocco had a guy knocked out, and they made him play on. He couldn't stand up, and they got him to play on.
But you see, that's because they seen what Ramos said about Salah, that he should have played on. So they just, had him a slap, got him and done again.
Yeah, but he's like, it's not that they might not be the effect right away. It's the after effects you got to worry about.
But it's probably after the game, then they can start worrying.
When they're back home in Morocco, they'll worry about it when he starts having
convulsions.
Yeah.
We mean no disrespect
to Morocco's medical staff. I mean disrespect.
No, not that. No, just in general to concussions and brain injuries.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like they need to take that. They need to take that seriously.
Yeah.
Much more seriously than it was. Anyway,
this is the one with a bit of teeth in it.
Let's get on to the next game, which was slightly better. It was Portugal-Spain.
Spain Ronaldo, yeah.
It was Spain versus Ronaldo. I mean, it looks like that. If you were to just look at the scoreline, it looks like that. I think we should break this game down, but goal by goal.
I honestly thought at the end of that game, I was like, yeah, World Cup's finished. You're not topping that game.
We were like, you know what, just make the World Cup a draw between these two. And then that'll be it.
Get the angle grind out and cut that trophy in two.
So let's kind of go through it goal by goal. It started off with Ronaldo getting the early penalty from Nacho, his teammate, and then gave Nacho a wink to let him know, yes, Nacho, I did that to you, your teammate. Love you, Nacho. See you back at training.
Oh, just the wee wink, get a cheeky smile, and yeah, I is your daddy.
It's like, yeah, I did it. But you know what? Look, he bought it. He didn't so much dive as he bought the foul.
He did. He sucked him and caught the foul. Went down. Beautiful finish too. You see how he hit the ground and everything. The legs flailing. That's a 10 out of 10 dive.
Not too much in it either. Not so that not too theatrical, so the ref might think he dived. He did enough to, he just enough contact to make it look like contact.
Yeah.
And down he went. The referee kind of has to give it. There's almost no not giving it.
But it just shows the talents he has. Like
he has mastered the art of diving.
But no, the penalty he scored then, he took it well.
Well, then
let's
just break. I'm going to bring in a story about Steven Gerrard here when it comes to penalty taking.
Why?
Oh, listen to this story. So
he's gone. Let it go.
there was an interview he did where they asked him what he would tell people about penalty shootouts, and he was talking about how much he hated penalties and that the pressure was always on him and that he felt that he was letting everybody down. He was thinking about all the people back at home when he was playing for England.
The selfish bastard was thinking of a celebration. He wasn't thinking about that.
He was thinking that. What do you think Ronaldo's thinking when he's going to hit a penalty? He's thinking, where's the camera for me to do the perfect pose after I put this in the net?
And Gerrard didn't think that when he run the kiss the cameras at Old Trafford.
I'm sure he did that after. Actually, if you watch that celebration, he hits it into the net.
One.
He sort of has to look around for a minute and then goes, oh, I better celebrate. Like he has a pose. You know when Ronaldo's stepping up to take that, he's thinking, he's not even thinking if the goalkeeper says this. He's thinking, when I score this.
Yeah.
Like,
but to be fair to him, how many has he actually missed?
Oh, Ronaldo, he's phenomenal finisher.
The only one I remember is the Champions League.
So confident. Diego Costa levels it up. Little elbow to Pepe on the way. Nice. You know what? A very typical Spain goal with a long ball forward to a target man.
But to be fair, no better man for him to stick his elbow to.
Do you know what, Pepe?
You're going to lie down anyway, might as well give you a reason to lie down.
Do you know what? They did that thing where they go to the 3 screens where it shows you in the VAR office them watching the replays and the game keep on going, and they're wondering why VAR isn't looking at it. I'm guessing everybody looked at that and went, it's Pepe, don't worry about it.
He's had it coming. At some level or
Karma's a bitch, Pepe. Anyway, so yeah, that was a fantastic goal because he completely.
The finish was beautiful.
It was Jose Fonte was other centre half. He turned him twice and just finished the corner.
Because when he was turning, I was thinking to myself, right, when's he actually going to take this shot? And then he turned again, and I thought, no, he's taking too long. He's wasted it, and then he just back in the net, beautiful.
Yeah,
they made a game of it then again. Amazing. Just it raised it.
So then, of course, Ronaldo popped up with a left-footed strike from outside the box, and De Gea made his he tends to make mistakes for Spain. Isn't that weird? And not a whole lot of mistakes for
bad goalkeeping coaches.
Bad goalkeeping. That sure man must be it.
Mm.
I'm sure.
Absolutely.
You have to wonder though about national team coaches. Surely you kind of think, well, the players' skills are already defined. That's why they're in the national team. They're already good enough to get that level. You don't need to do skills coaching in the national team. Like, for me, what it looks like, Portugal just do loads of training together, and they kind of have a togetherness in the way they play.
Team bonding, so they look like a team.
Yeah, they probably I wonder did they do loads of practice matches? Is because you would think that they should have been completely outplayed, and they did. They did let Spain have a lot of possession, but when they sprang on Spain, they actually could have scored more in the counter.
Oh, they were dangerous.
They were very dangerous. And they clearly had a plan in place, and I thought it was working well. But yeah, bad mistake. The build-up,
very uncharacteristic of
the build-up is brilliant. We see Ronaldo standing 5 yards offside, the Pippo Inzaghi position, as it's known.
What did Ferguson say about Inzaghi?
He was born offside. Anyway, so Inzaghi, in the Inzaghi position is Ronaldo standing there. I think he's behind Ramos. Is it Ramos plays on the right or the left of the centre halves? I think maybe even Piqué plays to the right. Doesn't matter. One of the Spanish centre halves. They're not looking behind him because he's 5 yards offside. They're focused on what's going on in front of them.
Yeah,
that's the way that's the way most people defend. And he stands there and he's not even moving. Suddenly the ball starts to come a little bit further up the pitch, and he thinks, well, maybe I'll take a little step closer to the fence, a little bit closer, and then not until that pass is about to be played to him does he step back onside, and it's played to him just as he's stepping back onside. He controls it, and as he controls it, you can almost see the Spanish defenders look up and go, where did you come from? Like that bit of clever movement is something I think he's developed over the years.
But surely when he was Spanish defence made up of Barcelona and Real Madrid players,
they should have known.
They should fucking known.
They should have, but that's clever movement. It doesn't matter how good you are, how much you know someone. If they're moving while you're focusing on the game, while you're they're watching what's going on, they're watching where the ball is, if it's going to come into their zone. They're not so much watching man mark. They're not man marking. It's like open play zone marking.
Yeah.
So they're thinking, okay, is the ball going to come my area? Do I need to go win it? And what happens then is they completely lose where Ronaldo is. But yeah, he's free. He has a shot. De Gea lets it into his net. But the lesser spotted De Gea error, unless you watch the previous Spain game against Switzerland where he also made an error.
As long as it does them in Spanish colours, he can make as many as he wants.
Yeah, because then people will think, maybe he's not so good, and they'll stop trying to buy him from Man United.
Yeah, well, there's not much talk of him going this summer. There's more talk of him actually signing a contract or agreeing a contract.
He's probably too expensive.
Well, that's it. That's the thing. We can pay him the wages other teams wouldn't want to pay. Not that they couldn't, they just wouldn't want to. I'd make him one of the best paid players at the club, and we have to move out and go, yeah, fuck off. He's ours for the next 10 years.
Well, okay. After that, we had another Diego Costa goal, which was again a very typical Spanish goal, which was a ball put in from a set piece, headed down by a centre half, and then tapped in by again the big centre forward. you love how Spain are scoring these goals now. It's not free flowing football cutting you up. It's long ball then a set piece, like a training ground set piece. It looked like too.
Sucked it in.
That might have been one of Lopetegui's training ground set pieces that he never got to see work on this grand stage.
We never got speaking about him. Remind us to speak about him afterwards.
Well, we'll go to Lopetegui at the end.
Third goal, Nacho.
What a strike. Beautiful.
He should have run up and winked at Ronaldo.
That would have been good.
Yeah, that's what I would have done.
Technique was brilliant.
It was a striker's finish.
Not bad from a guy who usually plays centre half, is it?
Yeah. You know, I've been happy with it. I've been happy with the score one on FIFA. But then again...
But, at that stage, Spain were dominant and it looked like they would go on to win it.
But when that free kick was given away, where it was given away, I moved myself closer to the TV. Because you're like...
You're expectant.
Yeah.
I remember reading...
The stage is set.
I remember reading that in all the World Cups up to now, Ronaldo has only scored 3 goals.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, is he going to score 3 goals in one night? And you're anticipating something's going to happen, and he does that thing where he pulls the shorts up over his legs. He's showing that right leg to everyone, and I was just like, I was laughing at it, and I was asking people around me, look what he's doing. And then of course he hits a free kick, and he hits it sort of differently to way he hits him
inside the boot. It was more placement than power.
Yeah, it was a nice sort of was kind of a different technique instead of him just doing that kind of weird laces smash that he does, where he tries to get a lot of weird swerve on the ball. But yeah, he just curved it into the corner. It was perfect free kick.
It was a great goal.
Did De Gea even move?
No.
Didn't he move?
No.
I think
De Gea's in there wouldn't have moved.
As my brother would say, that's the kind of one where you just take out your phone and take a picture of it, because that's the closest you're getting to it.
Yeah. Just wave it. Hey there. There's a passage you by.
You're like, nice.
Kudos.
Nice. Alright, so that was that game. Best game of the World Cup so far. Possibly one of the best games in the World Cup ever.
Yeah.
That's
what you want the final to be.
I kind of wanted to go a bit deeper on Portugal, because Portugal don't have the team Spain do, but they're playing surprisingly well. It's functional. Like, Ronaldo doesn't have a role in the team. He's just, you stay up there and we'll eventually kind of work the ball to you. And so long as they do that enough times, there's chances he'll score.
I don't think we're seeing the real Spain though. There couldn't be, considering the managerial change the week of the World Cup. But again, we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
Who's up next? France?
France 2-1 against Australia, and
they weren't really convincing.
They were pretty crap.
Considering the opposition standard and quality.
What did they get? A fluky goal at the end. A penalty that was... Did you think that was a penalty?
No.
I mean, it looked like he stepped over him, didn't it?
But if it wasn't given, you wouldn't have thought nothing of it.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of them.
It was weird. Now, Australia got a penalty. Penalty?
Yeah.
Stonewall?
Yeah.
I mean, like...
all day long.
France got very lucky. And for a team as talented as them, I can see why Deschamps is... There's question marks over him. Like, they all kind of got behind him when the tournament started and thought, right, we'll get behind you. But this is what happens with France. If things start to creak a bit, people start to get hard on them, and they're hard on them already. And we'll see if they don't get the right results in the next couple of games. Then he could be. Hey, Zidane could be the French manager by the end of the summer.
End of the summer. I was thinking about the next week. We'll probably get him in for the third game.
Nice, yeah. So we move on to Argentina-Iceland 1-1. This was another game like Iran-Morocco, where one team did try to play football and the other team tried to beat the fuck out of them, and game ended 1-1.
Yeah, but it's one of the. There's a common trend where somebody would say to you, Argentina, Iceland, who wins? And you go,
Argentina.
That's not a question. Give me a real question. You don't. It's not going to plan. No team is running away with it.
Yeah, like nobody is showing their true worth.
Yeah,
maybe except England. No.
Yeah, no.
Well, we'll get to that.
They mentioned they look good.
The way Argentina were playing suited the way Iceland were playing, which was have loads of big men in front of the goals, and if Messi comes anywhere near it, run in front of him, because he can get by 2 people pretty easily, 4, 5, and 6. Really big men, really big Icelandic men. It's going to be hard for anybody, even somebody as good as Messi.
But what I liked as well was they dealt with Messi the way Spain should have dealt with Ronaldo, is 1-on-1 defending. When it comes to the defending one of those two, you don't watch the ball, you watch them.
Yeah,
They're the danger.
They just, where the ball's wherever Messi was, they just cluttered that area.
He had nowhere to go.
The thing I found too about the game is they were able to get a lot of ball into wide areas to Metza and Di Maria, and Metza looked like a guy who should be playing on the other wing because he kept wanting to come inside.
Yeah.
Which is okay if you're a right footer coming off the left. You think, okay, that's kind of a thing that people do, but Metza was playing it in the right and he just kept coming inside, and I don't know if that was to let Salvio bomb on, because Salvio was normally a right winger anyway, even though he's playing right back. But when they did get sort of their full-backs into attacking positions, they've no one to cross to.
No.
Like, the size difference between Aguero and the back 4 of Iceland was just like, well, you're not winning a cross here.
More like a back 6. Iceland did that box crammed.
They did, but
they had to try to play through them. There was no space, and then it just resorted to Messi taking shots.
And the guy I was really disappointed in was Di Maria. He got the ball so many times one-on-one. Because they were packing the middle where Messi was going to be, there was one-on-one chances for him against the fullback, and you're thinking, just go by one player. You know, just go by. And what kept happening with both wingers was they would get the ball in a one-on-one situation, they'd turn back with it, they'd give it back to Messi, who again was, that whole area was blocked up. And people complain about Messi, but he got roughed up so badly by some of the challenges in that game. How some of the players didn't get sent off for their just running in front of him basically every time he went to go past them, and they did that to a few different people. But the Di Maria one was really annoying because you're a really highly thought of player.
But he is skillful, and the last time I seen him play that bad, he played under Van Gaal.
I mean, I'm going, man, just run at someone and try to do something different other than giving it back to Messi. Because I mean, it gets to the stage where everyone just reads it and goes, okay, this is going back to Messi.
And suddenly there's 6 men on, and they're wondering, how did they predict that?
And they were like, oh my god. Now, I will say that when the penalty came, that was a shocking bad penalty from Messi.
It was.
It looked like to me like
for his standards, I know.
It was shocking, and it was very poor. We didn't even talk about Aguero's goal, which was brilliant. You know, turned his man in the box.
That's Aguero for you. That's what you expect of him.
That's the fox in the box poacher type player he is. Just spun his man,
he's unreal.
Slammed it into the corner.
He wore the wrong colour in Manchester.
Iceland's goal was a little bit different, which came 4 minutes later, which was
scramble over the line.
Scramble everywhere in the box, scare the shit out of Willie Caballero, and
scare the shit out of the ball.
Wait for Otamendi or Rojo to sort of completely misread where the ball's going to end up, and one of your big men can just tap it into the net.
Yeah.
And then it was just defend for the rest of the game, and it was hard watching.
It was.
Peru, Denmark.
I didn't actually see that game.
From watching this, Peru actually played quite well, and
that's good. Though you like to see
the difference between the two teams was Christian Eriksen.
But he was the difference last November, whenever they spanked us.
Well, do you know? Well, let's not even talk about how we just vacate the midfield there and leave Christian Eriksen alone for half a game. That's the like Roy Keane was a holding midfielder. Like surely he's not sitting there going to Martin O'Neill going, you know what, Martin, that's a good idea. We should give Christian Eriksen as much space as possible.
It's almost like they don't know who he was.
Why are we talking about that now? That's
anyway. That's my bad. I brought that up.
Oh man, we could do a whole podcast on what the fuck that was.
That's not.
I'm
trying to leave that in 2017.
Yusuf Poulsen, who I think plays a striker for Leipzig, was playing wide right, but
He's a big guy. He's more a target man than a winger.
He got a nice goal. Christian Eriksen's the difference. Like, he was that little bit of quality. Peru kind of played well. I think when they brought up Guerrero on, he's good at holding the ball up, good in play. So they were better when he was on, but they're just not a brilliant side.
Here's my question for you, Eriksen. How long before he goes to replace Modric at Madrid?
How long's left in the summer? How long are Denmark left in the World Cup?
How long is a piece of string?
That long, the length of time.
Yeah. Well, Modric has another year or two in him, but Eriksen is direct replacement.
Alright, so Croatia, Nigeria. A lot of people are being hard in Nigeria because they said Nigeria was so bad. But what Nigeria...
There were no Saudi Arabia now, by any standard.
No, Nigeria looked to me like they were okay, but the way their midfield played was odd. Like, I thought that the two central midfielders played quite well. The Croatians fouled their central midfielders so many times. It was every time they got the ball, it was like, you're not getting a run here, take them out.
Clapper.
There was a lot of complaints about Alex Iwobi not having a good game. But what I thought was, a lot of the times they worked the ball into, say, John Obi Mikel, and he would have the option of going wide to Iwobi one-on-one, and he wouldn't take it, and he would go back inside and he would try and move it over to Moses on the far side. It was like their tactic was pretend we're going to shift it to one side, then shift it back to the side where we're already on. But that's the side where all the players are. If the ball's played down the right hand side, the teams tend to kind of drift that way, and you want to switch it fast so that you can kind of isolate your fullback against your winger.
Yeah.
But they had options to do it. Like, John Obi Mikel would get the ball in space, and he would kind of go, well, I can go wide left to Obi, or I can go back into the other side of the pitch. And he would go back, and I was kind of going, well, this is when you want to give it to... You don't want Iwobi picking the ball up in his own half, trying to take men on from there. What you want is him...
You want him higher up the pitch.
In that final third, getting one-on-one with people. And I was kind of going, like, why aren't you giving him the ball now? It was weird, and I thought they were much better when Iheanacho came on anyway, because he was putting himself about, but nothing much was coming off him. Croatia, they got their goals. Of course, the first one was an own goal. The own goal is like the top scorer in this tournament. It is even more goals than Ronaldo. Own goal. That's going to get the golden boot of Ronaldo. It's the own goals.
I would like to see that.
And then, of course, the second top scorer, penalties. There have been so many penalties. It's like
one every other game.
I think there's been 10 already. It's just they're just kind of going. This VAR crack is giving a lot of penalties. But you know what? I'm getting used to VAR if it can be that quick.
Yeah, I think
I can get used to it. I don't want to see it where you can ask the referee to look at something. I'd rather where the referee kind of goes, I'm not sure, and has a word with the guys upstairs.
I do enjoy the bit of VAR, and this isn't actually not from football in terms. See at the very start of the game where they show the studio, and then you can see their big TV in the middle showing them, and the guys just all freeze. Why doesn't we lose their shit? They go, I'm on TV.
Do you know?
Or throw a peace sign up or something.
I was actually talking to my father about that, and we were watching it last night, and he was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. There's 6 of them in there, and they still can't decisions right. And I go, honestly, Dad, I think one of them's a referee, the rest are techs to use the equipment.
Yeah.
And he goes, that's probably what it is.
The referee can't use an iPad.
It's like, what is all this technology? He goes, we'll just hire loads of technicians to sit in front of you.
But why did they just couldn't provide a screen at the edges of the pitch and at the referee can look at themselves, so the one man's making all the decisions?
Who knows, but...
If that's the case, why even have a referee? Just have a speaker.
Luka Modric was class in this game. Croatia have a decent side. I mean, people can complain about Lovren, but Lovren had a decent... Lovren is the kind of guy, if he starts a game well, he'll have a great game. And he started this game with a massive cleaning header where he just flattened Ighalo.
He actually had a decent game in the Champions League final.
One of his best games. And you know what's interesting? They started this game
with standard.
They started this game with Rakitic and Modric as their two holding midfielders in a kind of 4-2-3-1.
Why are they holding midfielders?
And I thought
they're ball players.
I thought they were. That was clever because they were like, we don't really give a shit that John Obi Mikel's going to be on the ball high up the pitch, because John Obi Mikel was the Nigerian 10, and they're basically the same system.
But he's not a 10.
And they were like, they didn't give a shit. They were just like, well, Rakitic, you can stand in there and foul people. Modric, if you get the chance, foul someone. They didn't seem to be that bothered about bringing on a holding midfielder, and they just let those two kind of run the game.
But even I wouldn't be bothered going up against the attacking John Obi.
You know, and
they
you
scored
look-
about 2 goals for Chelsea in
they've got
11 years.
They've got Ante Rebic, Kramaric, Perisic, and Mandzukic ahead of them. That's a very good side. They I think are better than Serbia. A lot of people are like talking up Serbia, but I think they're better.
Croatia always a good shot.
You know, on the bench, Churluk is still a good centre half if they need another centre half. They've got Kovacic, Kovacevic, is it? The centre midfielder. He's the other Modric that plays for Real Madrid.
I think he looks in the way out of Madrid too.
Yeah, so they've got him or Brozovic can come on. Kalinic, did you hear Kalinic get sent home because he wouldn't come on in the game?
Really?
They asked him to come on for the last 5 minutes, and he refused. So his manager sent him home after the game, as he is right to do.
Why would you refuse?
I don't know.
A World Cup appearance.
Kalinic, you're not that good that you should start ahead of Mandzukic. Like, I get that Mandzukic doesn't always play as a striker, but Mandzukic is a great target man, whether he plays...
But he's proven quality.
He's proven quality, and he's a great target man, whether he plays as a number 9 for his club, or whether he plays as a fucking goalkeeper. We all know what his skills are, Mandzukic. He is a great target man. Like, it doesn't matter where he is in the pitch, he's good at that.
So he took Real Madrid's defensive part himself.
Yeah, quality. And, they've got quality to come off the bench, so... I think Serbia or
Croatia.
I think Croatia could be very good in this tournament. But we've got to move on because next we're going to talk about Serbia, who I just mentioned. People are talking up, but I didn't think we're that good.
I didn't see that game either.
Against Costa Rica. Well, do you remember England beat Costa Rica 2-0?
Yeah.
In the friendlies, and people were like, "Oh, but it's only Costa Rica." And I was going, "Well, Costa Rica are known for their defensive strength.
They have Naves.
Keylor Navas, decent keeper, but they play a very tight system. A 3-4-3 system, but it's very, very tight, compact, keeps it kind of, they don't give much away, and it's
one of those annoying teams to play.
The only goal that Serbia got in this game was an amazing free kick from Kolarov.
Oh, dear.
It was postage stamp.
We watched them score them week in, week out of City.
So like,
and at Roma.
When I'm going through I went through the Serbia team, and I'm going to go through I went through the Croatian team, and I'm going to go through the Serbian team now because.
Let's hope these two teams don't actually meet. We'll be here all day.
I'm looking at their team, and they've got Mitrovic, who, although he is a good player, he has been playing in the championship. They've got Tadic, who's up and down. Milinkovic-Savic, who didn't play in the qualifiers and was one of the reasons that Serbia changed their manager just before the World Cup.
Yeah,
but he's a talented player, but he was just alright in this game. They've got Matic, who's quality centre, holding midfielder, no problem.
No argument there.
But they have Branislav Ivanovic as their right back.
Surely is he not but old to be a right back?
Yes, he is.
That
shows you the options they have at right back. Now, I'd also like to point out that Marko Grujic managed to make this squad. That's how short of centre midfielders they have. He finished the season at Cardiff on loan from Liverpool, and he was just alright. He's still young, but they don't have many more centre midfielders. So,
are you Serbian? Yes. You get on.
Are you Serbian? Yeah, on you go. So Costa Rica defended well. Serbia scored with an amazing free kick. There wasn't much else going on in the game.
No, that game.
My second favourite game in this World Cup.
Yes, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
After the Spain-Portugal game.
Agreed.
Germany losing 1-0 to Mexico.
And
I was delighted because I love Mexico.
Mexico were great.
They work their socks off. My favourite player for them is Hector Herrera in middle of the field.
Yeah.
He run everywhere. I think at about the 89th minute, he was giving away free kicks in the German half. And then 2 minutes later, giving a free kick away on the other side of the pitch, still in the German half. And I'm going, how do you get back? You're running so much.
What I liked about it was Mexico didn't stop Germany from playing their game, but they just made it fucking difficult for Germany to do anything with it. Germany had the ball, but they could move it back and forth. They weren't effective with it.
How bad were they defensively, Germany? They basically left their two centre halves on their own. No midfielders. Fullbacks were trying to do overhead kicks in the box. Whenever Kimmich decided that was a good idea.
You could see the goal coming too.
Yeah,
3-4 seconds before they scored it.
They got into that position down that left side so many times. Eventually Lozano gets a nice touch, slams it home. Lozano looked class.
Germany,
looks like he'd be good at Liverpool, Lozano.
yeah. So Germany actually.
Come on, you don't think he would suit Liverpool's system, playing on the wing? Come on, you know he would.
Is he Salah's replacement? Germany actually didn't look that dangerous in the final third. It was almost like Timo Werner.
It was back to what Argentina did, which was they kind of went to go wide, then they went back to the middle. They went to go wide, back to the middle.
The right ideas, it wasn't working for them.
They just go, we'll give it here to Ozil. But the thing is, Ozil made some nice passes, and they tried a few things, but the little sort of, it's almost like Arsenal, which everything has to fit together perfectly or it doesn't work. Those passes have to be perfect or it doesn't work. And there's a lot of overhead passes. Someone suggested the reason for the overhead passes is the players aren't used to the ball. And it's like some players have kind of got the hang of it. And some players, because a lot of the passing hasn't been great.
Has this come out of the German camp?
No, it's just someone I'd heard say it on a different podcast.
I don't see Mexico complain.
Mexico are brilliant.
Yeah,
I love the way they play. I've been a big fan of Guardado since he was young. The fact that he's converted himself from a winger to a hold midfielder these days is amazing. It was funny when they came into the World Cup. They were planning on playing a centre half in between the two centre midfielders that they picked in this game, but then he got injured, and so they were like, "Well, what do we do now?" And they just decided not to play with another holding midfielder instead of going with like a 4-3-3. They just switched to a 4-2-3-1 with Carlos Vela off Hernandez, and it worked. It worked really well. Now, I think part of that is Lyon on the right side is kind of like a right wing back anyway, so he can kind of double up as he's good at defending as well. But the two centre midfielders were brilliant for guys who are not. They didn't think we're going to be able to play as holding midfielders. They were brilliant.
They were well drilled.
And coming off the bench, they had Rafa Marquez. How happy were you to see Rafa Marquez?
Was it 4 World Cups in a row?
This is fifth.
Fifth?
This is his fifth World Cup. He's 39. And do you know what? The only thing I think he did in the whole game was he smashed someone in the middle of the field. That's
enough.
It was like there's about when did he come on? I'm trying to think what time he came on at.
I know how his UFC career is going now.
Oh, it was brilliant. But when he came on, I was thinking, right, he doesn't have enough time to get sent off, but he probably has enough time to get booked.
The World Cup's only early.
But you know what? He didn't even manage to get booked. Oh, yeah, and the fact that they brought him on in midfield, it was just on you go. Bit of experience, calm everybody down. If you get a chance to smash a few Germans while you're in there.
It's almost like a fuck you to Germany. It's like, yeah, we're going to throw on should be retired 39-year-old, and he ain't going to do nothing.
Alright, we're going to get off this game and we're going to move on to Brazil and Switzerland. This was odd because I was expecting a lot more from Brazil.
I was expecting a bigger scoreline.
It was just so weird.
I wasn't expecting massive numbers, but I thought maybe 3-0, 3-1 to Brazil. Well, comfortable.
I figured Switzerland would make it hard. They'd try to hit them in the break. And, once Coutinho scored, I thought, okay, they're going to press.
Great goal.
That's the Coutinho goal.
Yeah.
You can look through the archives.
That's why Barcelona paid the money they did.
That's what he does. And it's playing that left side of three central midfielders that he usually finds that space to hit that shot. He's not great defensively as a central midfielder, but when he gets into positions like that, you can almost that's almost like having a dead ball situation for some players, is to give him half a second to hit that shot. He just knows, he goes, this is going in this corner, bang, in the corner.
I did like Switzerland's tactics of dealing with Neymar, which was basically just kicking from one end of the pitch to the other. I mean,
there seems to be a pattern in this World Cup. Even though VAR is there to review situations, defenders have been slightly rough on the most talented players.
I mean, there's one camera view showed that Neymar had like 3 holes in the back of the sock on his left leg. Do you think they came there because he runs so fast?
It was probably the flies
eating through one sock of one player in the pitch.
Oh man, they were very rough. But
he might be injured for the next game. He's hobbling off training there.
Apparently he's back in training today. Everything's fine. Calm down. Relax. Maybe he just was
I couldn't care if he was playing or not.
Maybe he had the wrong boots and that's why he had to hobble out.
Maybe his hair is getting frizzy.
Oh my god, maybe his hair was too heavy. He needs to go and get it changed again.
Maybe he had to use the facilities, You gotta go. You gotta
go. Hey, you know what? And if it's a certain type of emergency, you're gonna hobble off like he did, because you're gonna be holding tight.
Next game.
We haven't even talked about the Switzerland goal yet.
I can't talk about it no more.
Anyway, bad defending from a corner. Zuber sticks it in the net. Good goal, Zuber. Horrible defending. What was Alisson doing standing watching it? I'm just making fun of Alisson because
he's trying to get his price reduced
so that he can move.
Yeah. Next game.
Oh.
I demand the next game.
Well, Brazil they were weird. It's like they got nervous and once they went to goal up and didn't want to push their advantage. Then they conceded, and then it was.
I do think we'll see a different Brazil in the next game.
You think Firmino will come in?
Yeah.
Sort of help.
He's coming off the back of a good season, so I don't see why they wouldn't.
Well, he can help.
He's had a better season than.
I think he can help Neymar out.
Jesus,
you know what I mean? Like he can take that kind of take the work off him, like so that instead of Neymar having to be both a creator and a goal scorer, he can just kind of go, well, just pass the ball to me, you run in behind, and I can find you again.
Firmino's just getting kicked.
The way that's it. The way I kind of described Firmino is, do you remember the way Teddy Sheringham used to play at times?
Of course.
He just kind of hold the ball up and they would find someone.
United legend.
Nothing too complicated. But he could also score goals when he needed to. But it was very much about the way he sort of could affect the game as opposed to the goals he would score. It was very much about the creative side of his play. I kind of think he plays a bit like that. Obviously he's a Brazilian, so he looks more skillful on the ball, but Sheringham was a class act.
I love Sheringham. I'd do a pot with Sheringham, no bother.
There was a time, remember, when he was playing central midfield, was it for West Ham or something too?
Yeah, after he left Spurs the second time, he kind of went off the radar, but
I think they would just give him the ball and it was a pass it around.
Was that before or after he played for Portsmouth?
I think he might have followed Harry Redknapp around a couple of clubs.
He wasn't even getting paid, he just kept showing up and was like, oh yeah, Teddy, go on ahead there.
Don't worry, Teddy, I'll sort you out. We just don't sign a contract because then we have to report that to the tax man.
Stick 20 quid in the. But
right. The next game was Sweden South Korea, and guess what? Another penalty decided this. This was an okay game. Sweden are an okay team, and South Korea have not gotten anywhere near as the team they used to have.
I didn't see that one either.
You must have watched a lot of football. They've got two big men up front, Sweden, but apart from Son and Key in the middle of the field, there's not a whole lot going on for the South Koreans, and it kind of showed.
I wouldn't fancy their chances of progressing.
But still, all Sweden got in this game was a penalty, so that's another game. So we're just going to skip ahead because we have more games to get to.
Belgium,
Panama, rubbish. Belgium
first goal, Martins,
amazing finish, but
that's goal of the tournament for me.
If he didn't score that, I think Belgium gets more and more frustrated, and Martinez loses the plot because is he that good a manager? Does he know
he's not. I don't rate him. He done a wonderful thing with Wigan, but that's it.
But he did that on the basis of really attacking football, and it was kind of, it didn't work forever. It only worked so much.
But they went down the same year, didn't it?
Oh, they won a trophy and went down.
Yeah. So I don't know. Would you took the FA Cup and relegation, or would you took staying in the Premier League and losing the FA Cup final?
It's hard.
Yeah, to me, it's staying in the Premier League.
Lukaku got 2 goals, 2 nice goals. His little chipped finish for the first one was really nice, but it was kind of.
The second one wasn't that. The first one was the header.
Are you sure?
I think so.
Doesn't matter.
It does. He's a United player.
I'll take your word for it that was the way it went. And I just know the dink finish was nice.
The dink finish was the second one, yeah. That was.
And it was, it was.
Hopefully,
he played well, and it's.
But we have seen how to get the best out of him now. We signed De Bruyne. How hard could that be? Yeah.
Or he could sign Hazard.
That actually could happen.
Oh.
Well, it'll happen quicker than signing De Bruyne.
Well, we'll not get into Premiership talk.
Anywho.
Not till we get to Jordan Henderson. Which we're getting to Jordan Henderson, by the way.
It's England time, isn't it?
Yeah, it's England time. England 2, Tunisia 1.
England made Tunisia look really good.
Sensational performance in the first half, I believe it was described that. Or was it an exceptional performance in the first half? I heard it described as.
It was BBC, wasn't it?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, you need to flip over the RT, mate. Listen to Dunphy.
Nah, man.
Highly criticised, but never far wrong.
You know, it was funny because that exceptional performance in the first half, that first half still finished 1-1.
Yeah.
So, what was so exceptional about that? But at the same time, like, Tunisia are kind of they're a surprisingly good side. They were well organised, but they kind of started the game pressing England.
Yeah.
And when they pressed England, England were knocking the ball in behind for their sort of attacking midfielders to run onto. And that worked. And then the second half, I'm guessing the Tunisia coach went, that's not working, we're going to sit back. And when they sat back and said, England, okay, do something else, England were like, sorry, what? Do something other than plan A. Right, well, this is what we'll do. We'll give it to Sterling. Oh, Sterling just run into someone. All right, well, Dele Alli, you take a man up. No, you've lost it, and you're starting to fight.
They're looking for their players. They're really just farmed from the clubs.
What do we do? What do we do now? And the formation is weird the way England play, because if you kind of look at it, they've got their back three, they've got their wing backs, and you're going, okay, you can see why they've got, you know, a back three.
Yeah, but look what's sitting in front of the back three.
Sitting in front of the back three, Jordan Henderson. What was weird about, a lot of people talked up his performance because his passing was brilliant, but he was the only player left in midfield. Did you notice that how many times he was alone in there?
Yeah.
And in the second half, Tunisia went,
it's not worth marking.
why don't we just... No, but like, I mean, the first half...
I don't think so.
In the first half they did, but the second half they did.
Yeah.
In the second half they marked him, and then suddenly the centre halves didn't have an out ball. And suddenly England was like, oh, what the fuck do we do now? But I think needed to be done, because Lingard and Dele Alli, I couldn't figure out where they were playing. They're supposed to be midfielders.
But they don't look like they knew themselves.
That
like, was the thing.
I saw at one stage Dele Alli playing left side of Kane in a front three. Then he was playing in the middle. Then Lingard was left side. Then Lingard was right side. And I'm like, surely one of you needs to be in the midfield with Henderson, because one man alone in there with three attacking midfielders and a striker to basically just ping balls at isn't going to work against teams much better than Tunisia.
This is the thing. I really hope they play that sort of formation with those sort of ideas against Belgium. Do we see a cricket score?
Funny? Belgium played nearly similar system with Witzel sitting in front of the back three. Carrasco left wing back is just crazy.
Why? Yeah, no, I don't get that. I don't know.
But back to England.
Back to England. I want to give the injured keeper a mention, because the save he pulled off getting injured.
He was injured before that.
Save of the tournament.
He injured himself before that. He injured that shoulder, then pulled off that save on the injured side.
Beautiful.
And he was just like, I just can't do this anymore.
I mean, Harry Kane should have hung his head in shame tapping that ball, and they should have been fucking clapping. That was a save.
But you know what's funny? In that first period where England were kind of making chances, how many chances did they miss?
Oh fuck! 19.
Lingard missed chances. I would have thought he would have scored.
He should have had a hat trick.
Sterling missed an empty net.
Yeah, I did enjoy that.
You know what?
Used to be Scouse, now plays for the shitty.
Do you know what?
I don't like him.
When I watched this game and I watched the second half, and it was becoming that really dogged, not fun game to watch, where they just sat back and said, England, try something different. England had no idea what to do. I'm sitting there going, you've got to put Vardy on now. Because if the ball falls to Vardy in and around the box, he's going to be that poacher. He just smash it.
He's going to bury it every time. That's what he does best.
Like it's that kind of.
He's fast. He's physical, and he sticks his foot through the ball no matter how far he is.
And he's that what's the word? It's like hit and run with him.
Yeah.
Like there's no. I'm going to need 4 or 5 chances here. It's literally, I'm going to do whatever it takes on this one chance to put it in the net.
As much as I would like this in Tunisia get the draw, in the last 10 months, I was kind of going, yeah, throw Vardy on.
Yeah, you kind of go like this. Surely that seemed like the obvious solution, but I was, you know.
Speaking of obvious, this Kyle Walker penalty.
Yeah, the Kyle Walker penalty. Do you know when
his arm was in an unnatural position? He knew what he was at.
Well, hold on. Before we start talking about natural position, so long as your arm is still attached to your body, it's in a natural position. If your body, if your arm was
behind you.
The thing is, when I watched it first from the angle where you're kind of like looking across the pitch,
yeah,
it looks like he puts his arm out. He's not looking at the man, and he says, "You know, he said to the keeper, all clear, it's
go
fine."
for it.
I thought the guy just runs into him. That's not a penalty. Surely VAR ruled that out.
It's the camera angle from up.
When the camera angle from on high,
Yeah.
you can see he's got his arm behind him, and he's actually, it's actually on the man. It looks like he's gone to stop the man, and the ball that goes into the box is a lot closer to them than I thought.
See, I don't think he realised the situation. I think, as you say, he was putting his arm moving to stop the player from passing him. But unnatural position, because it was behind you. You walk around with your arm behind you. It's a penalty. Straight away, I was like, yeah, it's a penalty.
When it took me a few times to watch it, and was one of the angles I was looking at going, I thought the ball was too far away from them, and that the guy just ran into him as he was putting his arms out to say everything's fine to the keeper. But when I watched it from a different angle, I realised the ball was actually a lot closer. Yeah. And there's a chance that guy could have got it, and that maybe Walker puts his arms out first, and then the arm goes back just to be sure. And yeah, I can see why it was given. I thought it was soft, but I can see why it was given.
But you see,
it depends on what
Walker's not a centre half. Centre half, so automatically go and stick their head to the ball and clear it.
Well, see, that's the thing. I don't think he could, because it was in a position where I don't think he could have headed it. You know what I mean? It's like he's thinking, well, this is going to Trippier over here. I'm just gonna let it go. And he's not tall enough to get up there, because he's not very he's a big guy. He's big, physical, strong guy, but not tall.
You see, I think he was watching the WWE Money in the Bank the night before and decided, yeah, I won't be close line this guy here. Oh shit, the ref's in it.
Look. What your wrestling podcast for a different time, okay?
But I really want to do one.
Well, not right now. This is World Cup podcast.
Just to sack the guy. Anyway, sorry, go on.
I'll sack you. But yeah, I think
they sacked the guy because he broke the door of the toilet of the bus.
Good. There was a kind of like the weird changes England made too. Like they brought off Sterling for Rashford. And you're kind of going, okay, yeah, but are you going to use Rashford properly?
No, they're not.
You're not going to get a lot out of Rashford in a game where he can't run in behind teams. Because... And you're not going to play him up front. And I mean, it seems nobody wants to play him up front. Which is really annoying. And England kept with the one striker and loads of quick guys running around him and nobody in midfield. They eventually brought on Loftus-Cheek, but again they put Loftus-Cheek up where Ali were pushed right up front. And I'm like, why don't you put him in midfield where he can use his ability to sort of move Tunisia around and make a bit more chances? Because as much as, like I said, we all know what Jordan Henderson does. He runs around. If you give him time, he can pick out a pass. But then again, if you give me time, I can pick out a pass. Yeah. If you give anyone time, they can pick out a pass.
I was going to say you about 12 seconds there when you says we all know what Jordan Henderson does. I was just going to say nothing.
No, he does more than Eric Dyer.
You should pay him money,
He does more. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Do you know what though? We're fun to watch. You're boring as shit.
How often has John Henderson played in those fun games?
Most of them, because the rest of the centre midfielders were injured.
Yeah. You answered that. You took fun out of that.
Look. Just because Liverpool bought a new holding midfielder this summer for about 50 million doesn't mean that they don't rate Jordan Henderson either. It just means
he's bought two midfielders.
Might not rate him.
Keita coming too.
That doesn't mean that Jordan Henderson won't play with those two 50 million midfielders.
Jordan get a sponge and get washed in the walls.
Look. He does have his attributes. Most of them involve him running around a lot. But a lot of the times when I see him pass, and they were talking up his passing, and I've seen some people online talking about how great Henderson was, and I'd be going, guys, I respect you as journalists because you're usually pretty spot on. But anyone can pass the ball when they have loads of time.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of that game, when England had just him and loads of players running ahead of him, and there was loads of space for him to put the ball in behind, then yeah, he was no problem putting the ball behind. Once they started marking the midfield, they were kind of like, and England continued to vacate the midfield except for Henderson. He was kind of like, well, I'm just going to have to keep giving this back to the centre halves, or I'm just going to have to keep giving this across. Like, there's a few times when he takes the ball off the centre half, and it's like he doesn't know that he can turn around. It's like if he can't see the pass when he collects the ball, he can't look around him for another pass. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like the thought of turning around scares him.
But surely that's something a midfielder should have.
Oh, should, absolutely. They should. But it's the kind of thing, he probably got a long way in his career, in his youth career, on his athleticism. It's a big problem, tends to happen in English football, that you don't see guys been given longer to develop. Like Lingard was given a very long time to develop at Man United. He's 25, 26.
Ferguson called it.
But he had technical ability. He just didn't have the physical ability.
Yeah.
He needed that bit longer to sort of grow into a man.
He said his best season was.
You know, when you see guys like Michael Carrick, I always talk about Michael Carrick. Michael Carrick never was that quick. So he developed that better game management, that better skill set, better brain power.
And then he didn't need to be that quick.
You know, and that's it. He made up for it with other attributes. Guys like Lampard and Gerrard, who were just, you know, had unbelievable. You know, Lampard was a lot about stamina and goal scoring. Gerrard was about his incredible pace he had in his 20s. It was frightening. I mean, you should know.
Dick.
And he did have incredible pace, and you're just kind of going like someone maybe didn't take them one side and go, you don't need to run all the time. Like, eventually teams will just go, well, we know you're just going to run, so why don't you just have someone run with you, or just have someone wait into the position we know you're going to run into. You know, it's weird. Anyway, we'll move on to England. I thought England weren't as bad as some people were saying, and they weren't as good as, say, the BBC were saying.
Agreed.
But you know what?
You're shocking.
They did one thing right, which was to keep Harry Kane in the box at corners, as opposed to having him taking corners.
Well done, Roy Hodgson.
Good man, Roy. That seemed obvious to everyone. How did it not seem obvious to you, a professional coach? That I've got to ask that question.
And hopefully someone will answer it.
Someday. The next game was Colombia, Japan. Me and you, before this game, saw the team and went, no James?
Yeah.
We're like, we know he's a bit fit, but really? And also, they didn't pick Yerry Mina at centre half. I get that he didn't have the best spell at Barca, but from what I'm told, he was the sort of, in Colombia, he was considered better than Davinson Sanchez.
But this is the thing, we just assumed that Colombia were taking Japan for granted.
We thought so too.
And what did we said?
You can't take anyone for granted in this world. But what's funny is, I talked about how South Korea don't have a lot of good players, and people said the same about Japan. And so I hadn't done my research until I actually looked at the team Japan put out. They had Shinji Kagawa in that team, and even though he's not fully fit, he's a quality player. Haraguchi and Inoue are decent wide players, and Hasebi's old, but he's been in Germany a long time. He's a controlling midfielder. He's a good technical player, and Nagatomo left back is fucking class.
Yeah,
he's always been class. Everybody knows him. You know, Sakai's okay, and Yoshida's a Premiership centre half. Like, and you're kind of going, well, that's a far better team than they said they have. And if they brought in a new coach only a couple of months ago who's kind of getting them back to their possession style football, trying to make them more organised, and they had a coach who was making them very defensive and kind of got rid of a load of these guys, like Hasebi. And
I do want to mention Colombia's free kick.
We'll get there, but the mistake for the penalty that Japan got at the game came from Davinson Sanchez. Now I think they picked
handball, wasn't it? Blatant handball.
They picked Murillo. No, what happened was that Sanchez loses his man, and then kind of like Davinson Sanchez loses his man, and then Carlos Sanchez makes a kind of a
there's two of them, yeah.
So they both confusing. So he kind of makes a last like he makes the move for the sending off Carlos Sanchez, but I think Davinson Sanchez didn't cover himself in glory in the build up to it.
No,
but he had a shocking game for a man who is supposedly so good.
Colombia weren't great.
They picked Murillo along with him, I think maybe for the experience, but from what I've read from South American journalists, they say that Yerry Mina was the higher sort of rated centre back coming through. He just wasn't as quick as Davinson Sanchez. So Sanchez has a bit of pace, Mina's a bit slower, but you know, they look like they could have done with Mina instead of Sanchez there because he had a horrible game. I will give credit then to Colombia's coach, who was very smart in that he took off Cuadrado, who was doing nothing. He was running down blind alleys, as he can do occasionally. And they put on another centre midfielder. They put Quintero out right. And they just said, Quintero, just you use your left foot to come off there and pick out passes. And Falcao and Izquierdo worked their socks off up front to get him. Falcao robbed a free kick. He robbed that free kick.
It didn't work out for Falcao in the Premier League because he's a great striker.
Did you see how he got that free kick that they scored?
Yeah. He
just kind of like, the ball bounces up and he runs in front of the guy and lets him knock him down. That was clever as fuck.
No fear. Proper order.
Quintero's free kick. What do you think of that?
Under the wall.
Nice.
Love it.
Goalkeeper a bit slow to react.
It's a pity we don't see more of them because they're just such a
Yeah, that's such a cool thing.
Yeah.
The goalkeeper was slow to react because it's not hitting with a lot of pace. But it looked, the way he deliberately hits that low, it looks like he knew that wall was going to jump.
But it's the goalkeeper's reaction. He lifts the ball, walks out, waving his finger, as in that didn't cross the line. It wasn't even close. It was nearly a yard over the fucking line.
There was no need for the goal line technology. It was like the ball practically ruffled the net and then he picked it out. It wasn't like, I mean, it's not quite Roy Carroll-esque, but like it was pretty bad.
Bless his wee cotton socks.
But anyway, look, second half after Colombia were brilliant for the rest of that first half, but when Japan came out in the second half, they were like, look, we're going to show them that they're their man down. They stretched the game out. They made their chances, and Osaka.
They seen a wounded animal and they went for it.
Osaka stuck it in the net, and they did brilliantly.
I'm happy to see that. Actually, it was a good result.
It's good.
Well
done. All right, so Japan. We're going to skip now to Poland and Senegal.
I watched it. Senegal were really impressive.
Yeah, and did you think that Poland were shocking?
Yeah.
For a team with, like, you look at the names.
But the thing is,
you look at those names. They're all recognizable names. Yeah,
but
and then you go,
it's not the first time playing together, but the 11 players that Poland put out, they all looked like they'd never met each other. They'd never played with each other. They didn't look in sync at all. They were just...
Senegal were nice and compact and nice kind of...
They let Poland be the fall of their own demise, really. Like, they let them be the architects.
Yeah, and I thought, what's funny is the right back for Senegal's only like 19.
Fair play.
He didn't look like he was that much out of it.
Fair play.
Two massive centre halves that Senegal have too, in Sané and Koulibaly. It's like, you can put balls into Lewandowski and Milik, but nah, you're all right, lads.
They just sandwiched them. It was good to see.
Did you see who the coach of Senegal is?
Yes.
Aliou Cissé.
Yes.
Former captain back in was it 2002?
I love the dread look he has going.
But you remember that he was the captain when they beat France back in 2002? Do you remember Senegal beat France? And
the opening game.
El Hadji Diouf was a standout.
It was the opening game, wasn't it?
He was the captain and their holding midfielder in that game.
Yeah.
Do you know what's funny? Actually, if I looked at that team recently, their central midfield was Aliou. It is, yeah. Aliou Cissé, isn't it?
Yeah.
But he, don't know why I suddenly completely lost my point there.
We didn't get cut off there first.
Aliou Cissé is the manager, but he was the holding midfielder, and the two other central midfielders with him were Salif Diao. Remember Salif Diao, Liverpool player?
Yes.
Right? Again, not exactly what you would call a creative midfielder, but you know what?
A midfielder wouldn't call that either.
Could run around a lot. And the other one was Papa Bouba Diop, the wardrobe from Fulham.
I remember him, big boy.
Now, that was their three central midfielders. That's a physical central midfielder. There's not a lot of skill and creativity there, but
I remember the game.
Well,
I don't think France took them serious at the time.
No. And you know what? It was it El Hadji Diouf was the African Player of the Year that year. He was playing amazingly until he came to England and went insane.
Started spitting on people.
He just
dirtbag.
Let's just not talk about it. You know what? Senegal, even though they got kind of like got sort of two lucky enough goals, they deserved that one. They were better.
How much did you spend on Diouf?
9 million. 9 million that they decided not to buy Anelka for. That was their choice, Anelka or Diouf. They went with Diouf. Sorry, I say they. This was Gerard Houlier's idea. Didn't want Anelka, bought Diouf instead. He had a choice. That's the choice he had.
That's shocking, actually, looking back.
Did you not know that?
No.
This is.
I would have criticised you this long ago.
This has long been a thing about Liverpool fans that when they've looked back and gone, because Anelka said that his favourite, he enjoyed.
He was on loan there, wasn't he?
He was on loan.
Yeah.
It was the end of that season where he was on loan. He enjoyed playing with Michael Owen because he got to kind of be a foil for Michael Owen. And he says he quite liked that because at the time he wasn't always banging in the goals regularly, but he was athletic enough to kind of play as a...
He was a skillful player.
He was a skillful player, but he was athletic too. And he could play with Owen, and Owen was a bit like what Vardy is now. If he got, he could run in there and smash in the back of the net. He doesn't do a whole lot in the build-up play, Owen. But if you got him in behind, it was back of the net. So Anelka has said that he loved playing with Owen because he was a kind of a different player to him. He was direct and he could play differently. As Anelka got older, Anelka became more of that, became more of a direct striker. But back then he liked running around and stuff. But he wanted to go to Liverpool. He was more than happy to go to Liverpool. He was on loan at the time, and that was all they had to pay. Because in fact, it was Man City he went to instead.
Yeah.
After Liverpool pulled out of it, and it was 10 million. That was it. They went 10 million for him, 9 million for Juve. They went with Juve, and now you're looking at it going, what were you thinking?
But I remember I was down at Crook Park for the qualifiers for the World Cup, France and Ireland, and it was the one we beat 1-0 at Crook Park, and Elka scored. I remember watching him, and I never really appreciated the kind of player he was until you're sitting in the crowd watching him, and the ball's glued to his feet. No matter where he moves,
Do you notice as
it
well
just looks
when-
like it's tied to his
When you
lisses.
watch a guy live, you never appreciate how quick he is till you're in the ground and you see him cover ground.
Oh, just watching him turn and evade challenges, and it was effortless. It was like watching De Bruyne live. Even when he's not on the ball, you're like, look at the movement of him, look where he's going. Different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't want to talk about him.
Well,
Next.
Well, you know what? Look, we're at the end of the first round of matches. There's been some second round matches if you want to talk about them, or do you want to get more detailed into the whole Spain manager saga now and leave the second round of games for the next podcast?
Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, let's have a quick word, and then I have to bounce.
So, what did you think of Lopetegui getting the Real Madrid job? Pretend he hadn't been sacked at this stage. What did you think of him actually getting the Real Madrid job? Did you think that was a good signing for Real Madrid, or did you kind of go, really?
I scratched my head. I didn't see it coming at all. He wouldn't even been on my top 10 shortlist that I would have thought they would have been after.
What I'm told is they went for Pochettino twice. Twice they
Yep.
got told no because they've just signed a contract at Tottenham. And I'm sure Pochettino, much like when Rafa Benitez was first sort of asked did he want the Real Madrid job when he first won the Champions League with Liverpool. They asked him did he want the Real Madrid job then. But he said it no, but the supposed line that came out of at the time was he can turn the Real Madrid job now because he knows it'll be available within a couple of years again. I know.
Well, this is it. It's just one of those poison chalices.
Pochettino can stay at Spurs for 2 more years and keep doing what he's doing, and there's a chance in a year, 2 years that job will be
He
available.
can take the Real Madrid job when he wants it, not when they want him, basically.
Yeah, and
because
it is-
he will end up there.
It's like it is a job that's always available.
Yeah.
You know, so
Revolving door.
it is.
That's why I turned it down.
I was surprised. Shut up. I was surprised that they went for Lopetegui because Lopetegui's only real club career, like he made his name with a Spanish underage setup,
Yeah.
much like Gareth Southgate, and he then
But you wouldn't see Southgate managing in the top 6 in the Premier League.
no,
No.
you wouldn't. You wouldn't see him managing Middlesbrough again either.
Nope. I don't think you appreciate you bringing that up, but sure.
Sorry, Gareth.
Yeah,
Gareth,
yeah.
you're a nice guy, Gareth. I don't want to say anything bad about you, Gareth.
We like you.
We like you, like you.
Don't cross us. Anyway,
Right, so it,
The
so
Spanish
it was really
Federation.
surprising though that he went there. I just didn't know why. Like, and I remember the theory was that he was going there because he has a good relationship with De Gea, and this is how he convinced De Gea to move to Real Madrid.
yeah, I read that. Yeah.
What I quite enjoyed was the sheer personal insult that the head of the Spanish FA took.
Oh,
of
they
this.
did not like it at all.
But it was just that the guy who's head of the Spanish FA was basically a guy who worked his way up from the Spanish Players Union. Like, he was never a star. He played in Scotland for a while. He was never a star player, so I'm sure he was kind of like, he's one of those guys who probably dislikes Real Madrid and Barcelona and thinks, I am now the head of the Spanish FA. That's supposed to be above those two clubs. And so the fact that he was supposedly, according to them, told 5 minutes before Real Madrid announced it, that he was going to quit at the end of the World Cup and go to Real Madrid after this guy took a chance on him. Because remember, he didn't have a great time in Porto.
You'd never heard from him before.
He took a chance on him, but also he gave him a new contract in May. He was giving him a big bucks new contract, so he was putting his faith in him. And then he goes 5 minutes. Oh, by the way, 2 days before World Cup, I'm pissing off the Real Madrid because Real Madrid are more important than you. The personal insult he took, he was like, "Oh, really? You want to do what?
It's almost like
you can sling your hook and go to Real Madrid now."
It's almost like a breakup or something. It was when I came out. Apparently, the negotiations had gone on 3-4 days before. That's prior. It's almost like the two of them in each other's company, 24/7 the whole weekend, where he kept sneaking off on the phone when you were having dinner.
To the mistress.
Yeah, whatever it was.
Just funny, the head of the Spanish FA had to go away to Moscow, away from there where the Spain were training.
Yeah.
Can't remember the town they were training, but they had to go to Moscow because they were doing the vote for the next World Cup. So he was over there and he gets a phone call basically after he's left them to say that your manager's quitting. And he's like, fuck this, back on the plane, and he goes back down there and he didn't take part in the vote.
Is that why you won't answer my calls?
Is this why you didn't want to come with me on this business trip? You wanted to be alone with with Florentino Perez?
I thought we were friends, baby.
I thought we had something together. I thought this was something special. Like, just in May we were talking about renewing our vows. We made a commitment to stay together. Don't you want me, baby?
We just got over the shock of him getting the Real Madrid job to what, less than 24 hours later, he's gone.
You know what? I am with the head of the Spanish FA.
Oh yeah.
This is where he's got to go. Look, he's got to make his position look strong, and I think
he kept that quiet.
He probably they could have shut. It's Real Madrid. Real Madrid keep nothing quiet. Like Barcelona, the same. Like, remember me and you talking about the level of tapping up Barcelona go to, and no one ever talks about it.
Oh, they're ridiculous.
Being pictured in public with Griezmann's sister, who's also his agent, like, and they're just going like, this like
it's almost borderline kidnapping.
Do you remember when the Spanish players put Fabregas in a Barcelona shirt while he was still at Arsenal?
Yeah. And
you're kind of going like, surely that, like, the pressure that they can apply to players is unreal. And it's
Fabregas into a little bit.
Like, look, like Coutinho was the ultimate pro as well as a talented player. He came across as the ultimate pro till Barcelona came calling. Suddenly he was having injuries. There was bullshit stories coming out that he was unhappy with the way he was playing for Liverpool, even though it was the exact same position he was playing for Brazil. Like it's like going. Oh, I don't like playing this position. Did you tell the Brazil manager that? No. Well, no. Like that's different. That's
Barcelona had posted him cue cards. It's like, yeah, this is the shit you say, and then we get you.
Yeah, and of course, Liverpool's owners were like, How about you can have him when you pay us an exorbitant amount of money.
And we will sell him when we want to sell him, not when you want.
What's that? 142 million, and he's acting up again. Jurgen, what do you think? Yeah, we don't need him anymore.
Throw him in the airport there, we'll drive him to the airport.
142 million they got for a guy that,
he didn't have a great half a season for them.
He was good. He was good. There's no doubt about it. He's good. And he would have been a good option to have in the latter rounds of the Champions League when they were out in their feet with 30 minutes to go in most games. But at the same time, he was unhappy. Klopp doesn't like unhappy players being around. And like I mentioned before, the stockbrokers are in Liverpool went 142 million. Okay, because before they were offering like 80 million and stuff, and Liverpool were laughing in their face when they finally hit the target they wanted. They were like, all right, maybe now.
You see, 80 million is small chips when Neymar goes for 222 million euros.
Yeah, it is that kind of thing where Liverpool go, well, we know you have 222 million euros.
Yeah,
you can't come to us and go, look, we only have 80 million to spend on transfers. You kind of go, well, that's a lie.
What?
See this here.
The belly from Borussia Dortmund. What's
another 110?
That's ridiculous.
So
if he's worth that, then yeah, Coutinho is worth 140. In that market, if that's what you're willing to pay for those type of players, go for it.
Yeah.
In hindsight, looking at it, we got Lukaku for 90 at the start of the summer. One of the first.
Not so bad now, is it?
No, because you wouldn't pay twice that come the end of the summer.
You'd pay twice that now?
Yeah.
Like if he's going to keep playing the way he's playing now at the World Cup, I think he's going to have a great time.
I think he'll be there long term. I think he's going to be a long term.
We somehow got onto tapping up and the sheer arrogance of the top two in Spain when we were actually talking about whether the Spanish FA were right to sack the manager or not. I think they were.
Yeah,
I would have been the same. I can imagine being as angry as the head of the FA was.
Yeah,
the personal insult. And then, do you know what? I had to say when the whole story came out that Ramos came in and was like, please don't sack him, we want him to stay. He's looking at that going, you're the captain of Real Madrid. We also know you're a bit of a dick.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like he's like we know that.
I mean, they love
I'm
him,
not-
but they know he's a fucking arsehole.
I'm not gonna go like Ramos is not the guy to convince you to keep him because it's
No.
like, well, you're obviously gonna want him to stay. You're the Real Madrid player, but then you're kind of going, what about all the Barcelona players? If a Real Madrid player gets picked an important game ahead of a Barcelona player, the question then goes, well, is he biased? Is he
But that's-
giving us all the Spain? Also, if he's negotiating a deal after he made a deal with the Spanish FA, he clearly doesn't give a fuck about the Spanish. Well, like he clearly doesn't give enough of enough about the Spanish job as the Real Madrid
The
job.
rivalry between Real Madrid and Barcelona, it would stem to the national team that, alright, so I'm now the new Real Madrid coach. There's a divide in that dressing room straight away.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like the Barcelona players were like, "Well, I'm not telling you anything.
Yeah,
I'm not ever talking to
now
you.
a cunt.
You are now the enemy. You are now." Gotta go to the bathroom.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's fine. Hey man, we said we'd be honest on this show. You know,
I got to pay.
That's the pay. Look, I think we've talked about all round one matches. We'll try and meet up again less than 2 weeks time. Probably.
Well, next week. We'll do it
try,
next week.
even try it like maybe Saturday. We'll try and get knock one out of the park depending on what's going on.
Yeah.
But we'll try and get some of the second round matches wrapped up.
And
Talk
quit our
about some
jobs.
more transfers and quit our jobs. Do this every day. We
That's
do this
the
every
dream.
day.
That's the dream.
Okay, that's the dream, man. Listen, dude. It's been emotional.
It has.
And we're out.
Good luck.